Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this session on budgeting and its importance in personal finance. This is Nihar from Quantum Wealth, and I'm going to talk to you about this topic over the next 60 to 90 minutes. I'll be happy to take questions from this group. Um, I'm a financial planner, and I have founded this company called Quantum Wealth. I help people manage their money, grow their money, and most importantly, I help people become financially free. So that's what I do, and I thought it'll be a good idea to talk to a lot of youngsters about the importance of budgeting and how it can help them kick off the savings, uh, kick off implementing or kick off their journey to financial freedom. So. So without taking any more time, let me kind of dive straight away into this presentation. So without taking more time, let me go to the next slide. Before I dwell into my presentation, let me ask two questions to this group. Uh, you know, let us start with two questions. Now, how many of you want to manage your money better? How many of you wish to manage your money better? I can see almost everybody saying that they wish to manage their money better, which I know is very, very applicable, very, very true. And tell me, and how many of you wished to be better investors? So, yes, everybody wants to be a successful investor. So, to be a successful investor, you need to manage your money better. To manage your money better, you need to have a good budget, and you need to be able to execute on that budget. It's only then that the limited resources of your income you will be able to save and keep for investments for your future. So it all starts, it all starts with having the right budget in place. Everything else follows later. Yeah, everybody with me on this? So let me move forward. Uh, Everybody has financial goals. wants to manage money, has financial goals to work towards. And uh, though everybody has individually might have different goals, but largely, the goals that a typical Indian individual would have would be, owning a car, owning a home. Somebody would want to, everybody would want to have a goal of kids' education. Everybody would have a goal of retirement. Something that I've missed over here is going to be marriage. I know a lot of you are youngsters over here, and you would want to also save for your marriage. So broadly, this is what the goals of Indians are. Now, the question is, to achieve those goals, are you working? You've got to save. And the question is that we all work hard to and earn and save money. But the question is your money working as hard as you? So see how I'm kind of, how we are going. I'm saying, to become financially free, you need to have money. To have money, you've got to kind of make sure that, you have money available to invest. To have money, to be able to have money, to be able to invest, you've got to plan, and the plan comes from a budget. And the critical part is that you've got to execute on a budget. Now, the question is, if you have the money, is your money working as hard as you? Yeah. And typically, all of us will be happy if we get an increment of 10%, 12%, 14%. Then the question is, why should, your money be locked up in bank fixed deposits? Or why should you not be saving at all? For example, if people are living on paycheck to paycheck, people have credit card debts, people have personal loan debts, people have bike loans, car loans. So if you're signing up on all these loans, it's going to take away, it's going to put your budget into a tailspin. Eventually, you'll not have money to save and invest, and you're kind of getting into a difficult financial situation. So you need to have, you need to be able to save money. It should be a corpus that can beat inflation by 5%. So typically, the inflation in India is 7%. Your corpus should return about 12 to 14%. Then your money is working at hard at you. Now, let me touch briefly on the key elements of personal finance. It's something that I want everybody in this group to make a note of. Income, all of us know, it's the money that hits our bank account at the end of the month or the first of the month. This follows the monthly budget, which is more expense oriented. But I will touch upon it, is that the monthly budget should also factor in for savings and investments. You would have liabilities, that are the loans. Then there is something called as net worth. Net worth is your assets minus liabilities. I'll cover that in a different topic. You'll also have financial goals. As I said, if you have money to spare, only then will you be able to start putting money aside for financial goals. Then you need life insurance and you need health insurance. So basically, each individual should, keep. I want you to make a note of these 9 elements or 9 box, all the 9 boxes, and make sure that you kind of checking all the boxes. But for now, we're going to cover monthly budget. So budgeting, let's learn the first steps of budgeting. So the agenda is quick introduction about myself, why budgeting is important, how to get started, what are things that you should watch out for. It is such a simple activity. It's that, people take it for granted and do not stick to it. It's easy to go off track. It's easy to, get flown in emotions and make impulse decisions, which may not be healthy to financially for you. I'll talk about some tips to stay on track. There are a few things that personally I have executed well and have helped me become financially free. One of them is delaying gratification. The other is a 30-day rule. I think these are two things that have worked very well for me. And I was told by the group at 1% that there are many individuals who struggle to kind of uh, makes basically there are many individuals who run out of cash towards the end of the month. So I'll give you some tips. I think are good ideas. It may not be comprehensive, but these are practical tips which I have heard people say do. Some of which I have implemented myself. There are some that I've been reading through books, journals, YouTube, talking to people that I've come across. So these are ideas that some of you might be implementing, some of you may not be implementing, but it is something that you could definitely look at. So let's start. Something about myself. As my name is Nihar, I'm a certified financial planner. I'm also certified for PMS and mutual fund distribution. I have about 30 years of experience, out of which about 15 years were in senior roles across various organizations. I've managed large teams, a team size of more than 3,000 people, sitting across various countries in ASEAN region. Financial services, I'm a practicing financial planner since 2016. I have advised many families on financial planning and investments. I've conducted numerous seminars, and last year, I decided to kind of work for myself, and I started my firm called Quantum Wealth. I help individuals achieve financial freedom. A lot of what I do is something that I've practiced all over these 20, 30 years of my work experience. I also help NRIs, participate in the India growth story. That's a bit about myself. I'll skip what Quantum Wealth does. So let's dwell into budgeting. Budgeting, a crucial element of personal finance. As I said, it is the starting point. So why budgeting is important? Anybody can throw some light. So various aspects. Budgeting is you kind of have a control over your spending. It helps you achieve financial goals. It keeps you prepared for any emergencies. It allows you to manage your debt effectively. A is, if you have debt, you manage your debts and pay it on time. B is, it will ensure that you don't even get into a debt situation. So budgeting is what keeps you going. It's like a lighthouse. And what does the lighthouse do? Basically, lighthouse tells the ship that this is your direction. You don't need to get here. This is the direction you got to follow. Yeah, it shows the way. So basically, it shows the way to the ship. Similarly, a budget shows the way to the individual who has made up a budget and is sticking to it. It allows you to make informed financial decisions. We always do a what if situation when we in our work life. We talk about if we take certain actions and what is going to be the outcome, what is going to be the reaction. We think through it before we make a decision. So similarly, a budget, is, so if you decide to take a loan, if you decide to do something, if you decide to take an expense which is not part of the plan, a budget will allow you to assess if you can actually do it or not. Simple example: if your current budget has a surplus of only 10,000 rupees, and you decide to buy a motorbike, which might translate into, or a car which might translate into an expense of maybe 25,000 rupees a month, then and if you go back to your budget and you plug in this number, you will know where you stand. And the question then is that are you going to give in to your emotions, or are you going to put on your financial hat, and say that no, this is not a good idea? So what I'm trying to say is that it makes you take informed financial decisions. Savings and investments. I mean, a budget is, normally we associate budget with expenses, but I think a budget also is about savings and investment, because in your budget you would look at your goals and say that, if I want to achieve my goals, say 3 years, 5 years down the line, I want to achieve this goal of collecting, say, 50 lakh rupees. Then you will know that how much money you've got to save every month to get to that number, and that will become part of your budget. So when you kind of draw up your expenses, you're going to make sure that if you need to save 10,000 rupees a month, you're going to keep that 10,000 available to save and invest in your budget. So how to get started? See, typically, uh, the best way to make a budget is uh, actually first track your expenses for a few months. Identify what are your expenses that are going to be regular, routine. What are expenses that could be, infrequent? For example, if you have kids, typically schools don't take fees every month. You probably pay for a quarter, you pay for a half year, sometimes you pay for a year. Uh, your insurance policies, some insurance policies, no insurance policy is paid monthly, it's typically paid annually. Your car insurance, uh, your bike insurance, your health insurance. So these expenses that don't come every month, they come, they come over a period of time, and hence this is also an element that should go into you should be saving for these expenses every month. For example, if your insurance cover cost is 18,000 annually, then ideally you should set aside 1,500 each month in your budget, and put that money aside into a different account. So that will help you. So when that expense comes, you just kind of dip into that bank account and take that money out, rather than allowing you to impact that month because you haven't saved anything. Then you track all your expenses. I mean, whatever expense you incur, you've got to track it. I remember as kids, my dad would kind of open a notebook, and it was a dreadful affair. We've got to kind of give an account of all our expenses for the day, every day, for years together. That doesn't happen anymore, at least not for me. But what it tells me is that yes, it brings in some rigor and some control. So it would be a good idea that if you guys can keep a diary. I mean, I'm still old school. I still like to keep a diary, though I'm digitally super savvy, but I still like to keep a diary. Otherwise, what you could do is just have a. There are so many apps. There are so many apps that you can track your expenses in, and I'm covering two of them in the end. So just download the app and keep a track of your expenses. Every money, every rupee that you spend, you got to track this. And once you have that data, because at the end of the day, this is all about data. Once you have data, you will be knowing, exactly where you're spending, and that, my friends, is going to help you is going to help you identify where your money goes, and then uh, identify opportunities to do better. It will also allow you to set, goals for yourself. What kind of goals should you set up? I'll give you a simple example. I was with my son recently, and for some reason he hasn't been saving much. And when I met him, the first thing I did was, asked him, okay, I said, show me your bank credit card statement and show me your bank statement, and tell me what are you spending money on. And what we realized that he was spending about 10% of his income every month on coffee, on Starbucks coffee. He was a gold. He had a gold card, if I'm correct, or a platinum card for Starbucks, and he was spending a lot of money on coffee, which I thought was an absolute of waste of resources. It's something that he could have invested. He could invest and get better outcomes. So once you have got all these expenses tracked, you make it allows you to make a budget. It allows you to allocate your income towards different categories. And then what is critical is, see, there are people say you should choose a budgeting method. You could do a 50-30-20 rule, or a zero-based budgeting, or an envelope system. I think whatever you do, I think what's critical is you've got to constantly be reviewing yourself and being true to yourself. Because anything that I talk to you, teach to you, it's not something that's going to be, all of you are very smart, all of you are very, very knowledgeable, you've got access to information, you've been reading it. But I think the only difference that between success and failure is execution. It's sheer execution. In my days, when I ran operations, two folks are equally talented, but the guy who succeeds is somebody who is driven and is a great executor. So this is going to be, at the end of the day, this is going to be about execution. So once you have kind of started tracking your expenses, you've got to keep on adjusting your spending. Identify areas that you got to cut back on, and you've got to review regularly. You've got to review every week, saying that I had said I'm going to spend so much money on needs, wants, and where am I? So it's very, very critical that you are able to review regularly, and be brutally honest with yourself.